And from Columbus, Ohio, I'm your host, Robb Dunewood.
And come out of Philly is your girl, Tech Life Steph.
And out of Atlanta, this is Terrance Gaines, a.k.a. Brother Tech, a.k.a. Mr. 1.5 times podcast speed. I just figured
I saw
out.
your Facebook post. I was like,
You just not getting hip to that?
right.
I just figured out that I could listen to podcast. I can't do 2 yet. I started with 2. I'm like, all right, that's just way too fast. So I slowed it down to 1.25. I was like, I can bump it up a little bit. So my sweet spot is 1.5 podcast listening speed. That speeds it up just enough, but it's still, I can understand what's going on to absorb the information of whatever podcast I'm listening to. So shout out to y'all for not telling me that I should have been doing this forever.
I just assumed you knew because you literally have been podcasting forever. So I just assumed you knew. I am a 1.7 is my sweet spot. That is right on the cusp of I can still comprehend at 1.7. I may have to slow down if it's like something really technical that I'm trying to get. But if it's like entertainment, I can just knock that up to 2. And I'm good. And here's another one. Do you trim silence?
Do I what?
Trim silence.
Obviously not, because I have no idea what you
okay, so that's another trick. So a lot of podcasts, they have like just silence of more than like a second or so. If you trim it, you can literally you can capture like 2 minutes in an hour show sometimes. People just make awkward pauses and stuff like that.
Do you really need to be that productive? Don't you just want to sit and listen for listening's sake?
Well, on some things I do, but this recent podcast that I just started listening to, the information is so good. I'm like, well, I'm not going to start where, whatever podcast came out that week and just go from there on. I want to go back to the beginning and start over from podcast episode 1. So then I look back, I'm like, man, that's 200 some odd episodes. I'm like,
you're on your binge
I don't know if
game.
I got time to get you all. Okay. Yeah, so I need to speed it up. And I was playing around. I was like, well, what can I do? And I was like, oh, you know what? Let me try this, speed on the podcast. And I went up to 2 immediately. I was like, what are y'all doing? So I was like, let me back it down some.
So speaking of speed, I want to, we're not going to speed through this story because it's an important one that we're going to talk about first. But we got a guest. We haven't had a guest on, and it's been a little bit of a minute. So we got a guest.
I was going to say, I'll cut you off. You said, speaking of speed, I thought you was going to reference old boy Speed at the Discord and his issues he ran into. I don't know if y'all know, but Speed is one of the most popular outside of, what's that guy's name out of New York that had that crazy
Kai Cenat.
Him and Speed, 2 brothers, young brothers, have recently got into trouble over Discord by doing some crazy stuff. We talked about, I don't know if we talked about it on this show, but Kai Cenat, is that his name? Say it again, Rob.
I think it's Kai Cenat. Yeah, I'm going based off my daughter because I've heard the name, but I'm not a big,
So real quick, he's a New York Discord streamer. Probably one of the most popular streamers on Discord, if not the most popular Black streamer on Discord. He decided he wanted to give away some PlayStations. Said pull up.
Yeah.
Everybody in New York pulled up and caused pandemonium. So he had to dial that
one. Not a riot, yeah.
Yeah, and then
but isn't that kind of like yelling fire in a crowded theater though? To a certain degree. I mean, he shut down Union Square, like right. You can't do that.
Yeah, so that caused pandemonium. So he had to dig out of that one. And then Speed, which is another Discord streamer, these young kids just not aware of what's going on and was reacting to something in his usual manner and somehow exposed himself on camera. Exposed his junk, his frontal look. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying so he got he's doing some damage control as a result of that. So just an anecdote. When you said speaking of Speed, I thought that's what you're gonna jump into, but I digress.
No, I never even heard of that one.
Right.
Yeah. I never even heard of that one. So but yeah, the thing with Kai though, because like I said, I've heard of him, that made like national news on that one because it was a riot. But here's the thing. Bro didn't even have PlayStation 5s to give out. It was all, he just said it to see if people would show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe, I don't know if he was arrested, but I know that they're thinking about charging him with inciting a riot or whatever statutes that he may have violated in doing it. But it's like, bro, you ain't even had a PlayStation. It's like
definitely some unwanted attention.
Yeah. So, but y'all, on a more serious note, let's jump into this first story. So, and I'm just gonna, let you know, we already said we got a guest coming on, and we're gonna get to our guest. But before we do, I want to talk about another case of inaccurate AF facial recognition being used to arrest folks for crimes they didn't commit. So this one is one where it wasn't just that the AI or the facial recognition was incorrect. It's like a travesty of justice of how the police operated after the fact. So there is a young woman, a young mother, who is based out of Detroit, who just happened to be getting her. This is back in the beginning of February, I believe. She's just trying to get her kids off to school, and she's 8 months pregnant. The police show up at the crib, and ultimately they're arresting her for carjacking. Her name is Portia Woodruff. She's a Detroit native. As I said, she was arrested for suspected carjacking. And this all stems from a facial recognition that was not her. Now, here's why this is so bad. So 8 years ago, back in 2015, Portia actually got arrested because she was driving on a suspended license. Nothing crazy, but she was just, that's why she was arrested. So when you get arrested
as a young kid, say.
Yeah, as a young person, and it ended up getting a mugshot. So that's the first part. The story from the victim of this crime is that he was at the liquor store, met a woman at the liquor store, had sex with the woman in the car at the liquor store, then decided to drive her somewhere else, or she asked him to drive her somewhere else. And when they showed up to the place, it was like 10 minutes from the liquor store. There was people waiting for him that stole his cell phone, stole his car. And the woman ends up going back to the liquor store, and that's where the security camera caught her face. So what the police did was they ran it through facial recognition, and it matched up on Portia Woodruff's image from 8 years ago. Now, here's the thing. She's 8 months pregnant. At no time did the victim ever say that he was with a pregnant woman. They matched it off of an 8-year-old photo that, according to the lawyer, looks nothing like her. And he said this specifically: it definitely doesn't look like somebody that's 8 months pregnant that is visibly, with child. The victim never said anything about the woman being pregnant. They never asked the victim about anything being pregnant, and they never even showed the victim a current driver's license. They actually had the victim and Portia in the jail at the same time, questioning him and questioning her. And the detective that is running this is going back and forth in between them. And at no point does the detective that she ever say, was this woman pregnant?
No. See, this, y'all know Portia and LaShantia got beef, right? Because that's all this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not bad facial recognition. Portia and LaShantia got beef because the detective that you are referring to is LaShantia Oliver. Portia and LaShantia got beef. Whatever it is, Portia may not know she got beef with LaShantia, but Portia's fiance, who was at the house at the time Portia got arrested, is clearly LaShantia's old ex or something.
Oh,
Portia and LaShantia got beef. There's absolutely no way this whole thing went down off some 8-year-old photo of this woman, and this woman is 8 months pregnant, and they pulling this woman out of her house, getting her there. There's just no police department is that inept. And with Detroit as broke as it is, and they about to have to pay this woman the money they about to have to pay this, because this woman's about to get paid. And when Detroit is as broke as it is, there's no way they made this mistake. Portia and LaShantia got beef. And like I said, Portia might not have been aware of the beef she has with LaShantia, but LaShantia is aware of the beef she has with Portia.
So
And
she felt some kind of
and
way, is
she
what you're
put
saying.
Portia on blast and wanted to harass Portia for whatever reason she had to harass Portia and almost made Portia lose her child behind some nonsense. But that's what women do, unfortunately, when they mad because she got the man.
Oh,
And
that's what I was going to say. Is there a man involved?
there's a man. I would be willing, and I don't gamble at all, but I would be willing to bet that whoever this fiance is of Portia's, who was in the home at the time Portia was arrested, is an ex or a current of LaShantia's and knows what is going on between the two of these women. I
So
would
to be
willing to
clear,
bet good money, allegedly, that this man, this alleged fiance, knows what is going on between Portia and LaShantia.
so to
Because
be
ain't no way
clear, I
ain't
just
no
want
way
to be
in
just to
God's
be
green
clear,
earth.
you're not reporting this. You're
No,
just saying what had
I'm
happened
just
was.
saying
You're
what
just
had
saying what.
happened. Ain't
Okay,
no
so
way
yes,
in
so just
God's green earth you got a woman 8 months pregnant that you bringing down to a station, that you are pulling away from her children and at 8:30 in the morning taking them to school, and you got a current driver's license that you could show a man, but you choose to show him an 8-year-old picture. Ain't no way.
if
Portia and LaShantia got history, and that's all that was. And that's all that was. I'm
so
telling you.
here's what this is
Wait till
done,
the rest
because
of the story come out. Wait till the rest
so
of the story.
I do want to see if that part comes out, because
Wait
that
till
is
the
the
rest
like
of the story
that
come
is the made for TV part of this. But here's the other thing that has happened from this. There was something wrong with the facial recognition, because why would facial recognition software, like, so I'm just reading through some of the stories. It sounds like they can put in all kind of criteria when they start doing these matches. So she is currently 8 months pregnant. I mean, so you kind of alluded to it. She actually started having contractions. So she left the police department or police station and went right to the ER because she was having contractions and was dehydrated from spending all day there. But the thing is, why would the facial recognition, why would it not eliminate her with her being 8 months pregnant and looking so much different now?
To go and grab her up out of that house. That's all. LaShantia needed an excuse for that bogus ass warrant she wanted to go grab that girl out of her house because she mad because she with her man. I'm telling you, this was a setup. This was a setup. That was some bogus from the beginning. She knew she could get him. She knew that facial recognition don't work and that is wrong a lot, because it's been wrong, because like as you said, Rob, Detroit keep getting it wrong because they've had this happen before. So she knew
this is 6 times.
Right.
6 times this has now happened in Detroit.
She knew she could use that as an excuse. Oh, well, the facial recognition messed up. We didn't know. It was a mistake from so she could plausible deniability. LaShantia ain't stupid. She's a whole detective at a police department. She know how to get around the red tape. So she knew she could use that as an excuse, and that's what she used. She probably maybe did not know Portia was 8 months pregnant and was having problems with gestational diabetes and things like that. So she probably wasn't trying to send the girl into early labor and cause her to lose a child. She probably wasn't counting on that. She was just counting on getting this girl shook enough maybe to get her away from that man. But all this other stuff done came into play. Now LaShantia about to lose her job and get charges brought up against her, and Portia about to get paid.
So here's the other part of
Rob. Hold up, Rob, real quick. I'm looking at this YouTube video. The false arrest of a pregnant woman accused in a carjacking by Detroit police has led to a lawsuit, but Detroit police chief James White isn't blaming the case on faulty facial recognition software. Instead, a mistaken investigator. That's all the title says in the YouTube, but
I got quotes.
LaShantia is going down for this. LaShantia
Chief White said his officers will not be allowed to use facial recognition derived images in photographic lineups again, period. He's shutting this all down because it's like he knows they're about to get sued for a grip, and they're gonna have to settle because they don't want to they do not want to have to go to court on this one. But he's saying that This was, and let me read this here. Facial recognition produced a lead in the case, but according to Police Chief James White, it was followed up by very poor police work leading up to the wrongful arrest of Miss Woodruff. So when your chief is basically throwing you under the bus right off the jump, you know that this
LaShantia had a vendetta.
What had happened was,
and tried to use her position in the police force to settle it, and now it's about to get settled for real. And I'm just waiting for. I got my popcorn, waiting for the rest of this story to come out.
I see a settlement coming, but also they're changing how they actually use this now, which I guess would be a good thing, because this has happened 6 times.
Definitely,
it's always been black people, and this is the first time it's been a black woman, in Detroit that this has actually happened. So, like I said, they actually have submitted, changes. It's going to have to be 2 captains that are going to have to actually review this before they allow you to actually, do a warrant. They're like, no, we don't want this to happen again. And
it should be ahead of time before something like this happens. It should be oversight. Right. And
especially when you know that the software is, we say this every time we talk about facial recognition, it is the worst for black women. Now, this is the first time that it is actually flagged a black woman, here, but the 6 times it has happened, as I said, it's been black folks. And it's all been wrong. I guess we don't know about the times when they've actually, successfully done it. But just to know that when we started talking about facial recognition, that it could be 1,000% worse for black women than it could be for anybody else. Why would you not have every other safeguard in there unless the way you were operating was, we want to just get enough to say we can go charge this person and bring him in. We ain't really trying to clear nobody. We just trying to, get you and bring him in. I hope that's not the case, but it kind of looks like it in this case. And, at least there's going to be some good that comes out of it on the other side, that they won't be able to use facial recognition in this way anymore. Because it's like, I'm listening to the lawyer. It's like, just look at it. It's like, what kind of software would you actually use that could be this wrong? You're using a picture that's 8 years old. And right now, today, it's like she didn't just get pregnant, 14, 15 days ago when the thing happened. And because I think it happened January 29th, like she's been pregnant for 8 months before that. She's at the end of her pregnancy, very visible. And they never actually, used any of that. So that's where the bad police work comes in. But
thank God this woman did not lose her child over this nonsense. You know what I mean? It just, like I said, this just stinks of a vendetta on the part of that detective. And, because there's like, you can't justify any reason you wouldn't have just showed that man a picture of this woman's current driver's license and called it a day, and decided to show him an 8-year-old photo of this woman. It just stinks of a vendetta, and thankfully this woman did not lose her baby or her own life behind some nonsense.
So it's crazy. And like, the thing that we when we started talking about just facial recognition and how it can be used, this is what you have to clean up for. You can't just allow it to be used this way. We've said before that we don't want to give the police the opportunity to say, oh, well, the facial recognition said it, so I have to give you the warrant. When we talked about the first time, like I think it was our first episode when we talked about, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but a bruh got arrested for this, and the police officer even told him, yeah, it doesn't look like you, but I still have to arrest you because the warrant has your name on it. That's the kind of stuff, at some point there's got to be some common sense stuff, common sense that goes into policing. It's like when you could clearly look and see this woman is so pregnant that it couldn't have possibly been her. That should have shut it down when they showed up to her house. But as you say, we will find out what had happened was if there's anything else on this one. So, y'all, as I've been alluding to, we have a guest that we are bringing on the show. And, Lamar Wilson, that is our guest this week. He has a bio. I'm going to go ahead and read it as I'm bringing him in, to our live stream. But let me go ahead and read this. Lamar Wilson, a charismatic lifestyle entertainer and influencer, has been captivating audiences since 2008 with his unique blend of humor, insight, and authenticity. social reach of over 3 million followers, Lamar has carved out, let me say that again, 3 million. I don't want to just skip over that. His reach of over 3 million followers, Lamar has carved out a niche as a trusted voice in the digital space. His journey began in technology consulting, but he quickly discovered his true passion for educating and entertaining through the internet. In 2011, he made the leap to full-time content creation, a decision that has since shaped his dynamic career. So that's Lamar, correct me if I'm wrong, that's ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, that was not. I wouldn't write that stuff about myself. Yeah, that's on the computer.
Yeah, let me give you the Robb intro. So Lamar and I, we have known of each other, and we've met, I would say, probably 3 or 4 times over the years. Just by being on another podcast together. Mm-hmm. But it's probably relatively recent in the last, I would say, year, 18 months that we just started going back and forth on Twitter and just talking and just chatting it up. And you would post stuff that I like. Yeah, I'd post stuff that you like. And we just kind of, became, internet friends that way. And it's like, how is it that we have gone so long and I have not gotten you on this show up until this point? But I want to talk about things.
Oh, okay. No, I was going to say, I could quickly explain why I didn't connect with you. I was scared of you, man.
You were scared of me?
There was like, well, okay, you have a presence. And I was like, this guy is not gonna like me. He's not gonna like. So I was on shows with you, but I was like, he's on another, because
Rob ain't got no presence.
No,
he's a very technical.
This is what
guy.
I do. I just talk close on the microphone to give me that deep voice effect, that proximity effect. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. So no, but once we talked, man, I was like, oh, this dude is dope.
So Stephanie and Terrance, just like he's saying that, this is what I had to say to him. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, bro, you like are putting out 15, 16 videos an hour. You dominating over on YouTube. You're killing it over on TikTok. You got Instagram going. You're doing all these things. It's like, okay, you're probably busy. I'm not going to mess with you to try to bring you on the show. But I've been following you, Lamar, for years. I mean, it's been years since I think the first time I saw you were on the Twit TV network. Doing some stuff, going way back.
Old Twit.
Good old Twit. Yeah. So I think that's when I first became aware of you. But then I started like, I like how you do your videos. You're not, nobody's saying that you copying off anybody else. If anything, other people are literally, biting your style on how you do your videos. But it's just like I've been following you forever. So I'm just personally happy to get you on the show. And I never bring a guest on and ask them to, well, tell me about yourself. Tell me about what you're doing. But I did have some very specific things I want to talk to you about, because like you have been a creator and you look like us, a Black creator that has attained a level of success, like with 3 million followers, on various platforms. That is impressive. So I kind of want to just kind of dig into your story of, how you actually got into doing these things. And essentially you are and I'm doing the quotes here for people who cannot see me right now. Lamar is the CEO of unboxings, because that is what he has championed. And this bruh is unboxing everything. Everything, literally everything.
That name came very affectionately from TikTok. They make CEOs of, if you do a lot of one type of video, oh, he's a CEO of talking about hurricanes or whatever. Like it's just one of those things they do on TikTok. They give you those nicknames, and that one kind of stuck. I was like, oh, I like that, because I don't claim to be like the best or the top. I'm not, but it's like, yeah, I can do CEO. That's cool. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, Rob. Yeah, go ahead, Terrance.
No, I was gonna. You're probably gonna eventually get into this, but one thing that stuck out to me recently, well, I say within the past year, with you, is you have consciously, purposely decided to make the transition from more long form YouTube, call it traditional YouTube content, to more short form, even the horizontal, story content, from just going on YouTube, from, going to TikTok and Instagram. Tell us about that transition, why you felt you needed to do it, and, how successful has it been so far?
Okay. Did you want me to jump to that now versus the pre stuff? Or I mean,
Well,
I
yeah,
can
now,
get
because I do want to hear the background. You know, Rob said he ain't gonna say tell you about yourself, but I kind of want to hear the background because you know you do have a background in tech and IT and as much as you know Rob knows about you. I'm not gonna front. I did not know who you were before Rob
That's
suggested
very
you be on the
fair.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, so I would love to hear a little bit about your background and
Okay.
you know, how
Yeah.
you
And
got
I'll try to
started in the space.
I'll try to make it not a whole hour talking about it. There's a
We
lot.
got some time, you know what I mean? Like I said, I would love to hear your
Yeah.
background. So, yeah.
Okay. So I'm from Chicago. I started in tech. Honestly, you know, I'm probably around you all's age. I'm 45. So I started in the 90s in tech in a computer lab in a high school. Started working at Best Buy. That's where I started learning about technology. So I really got a lot of my love of it from retail. I worked Best Buy, I worked Office Depot, just the kind of inner trenches when Windows 95 and all that came out. So I was there when everybody was like, okay, computers are going to the house. Then I was there trying to you know educate and get people to understand them. So it was a really exciting time to be in a tech. Um, uh, I'm jumping here a little bit, but later on I got into the school system. I was going to school, but I was able to work in the school as an assistant, assistant teacher and things. So I got into the, education, started working with you know classrooms, working with the main teacher. One thing led to another. I had a family issue, so I wasn't able to like finish my classes. I had to go back home, Chicago. My grandma was really sick. So I got there, ended up working in the school system with I became the technology coordinator at a school. So I had like reading groups I was working with, you know, kids. I was definitely in the classroom,
Right.
but just not as the main as the main teacher. But because I hate to say it like this, the teacher pretty much checked out. So I kind of took over the classroom in the third and fourth graders, and you know, yeah, I wasn't you know officially certified with everything, but like I just used my background from working in sales and working in marketing because you had you know it was a black school, south side of Chicago, and you know these particular kids that I worked with, the teacher checked on them, school kind of gave up on them. They were fourth graders with reading at kindergarten, first grade levels, you know, so they just kind of you know that statistic by fourth grade if you're not reading, yeah. So that was the situation. I saw that and I was like, I gotta help them. I got to do something, you know. So, you know, I made it my mission to work with them, you know, nonstop. Got them by the end of the year to reading at fifth, sixth, seventh grade level. Yeah, matter of fact, they got so good that the state came in and audited it because like there's no way you could have got them. Yeah, I was like, oh, so you can't. These black kids can't achieve 3-4.
There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. So. Because I tested them. They're like, we're going to have our testers come in. I was like, that's fine. I took the day off. I did my thing. They scored higher with the other tester.
So you were like the Jaime Escalante of reading. And
yeah.
Anybody watch the movie Stand and Deliver? Yeah. Come in and test them. Yeah, they'll score better on your test than they did on mine.
Yeah, I like that. So, but from there, I still had my tech background, right? And I wasn't the official teacher. So, I saw that the school, again, it's a black school. I'm looking at the north side of Chicago. This is 2003. So, but a lot of the schools had websites already. They had computer labs, and you know, and we're over there with nothing. And I'm not blaming it on being Southside and black, but you know, we just didn't get the funding that these other more affluent places got. A lot of it is by taxes that are in certain areas. So the higher tax bracket,
but unequal. It's separate but unequal. Yeah, it's the funding.
Yeah,
you can blame it on
pretty
that.
much like it is in the entire rest of the United States.
Exactly. You can blame it on that.
Yeah. So I started building the website on my own. I was just like, you know, because the principal was like, you want to do it. So I built the website. I started helping teachers with technology. Eventually I became the tech coordinator. And then for a couple years, I kind of ran the school as far as technology and things. And this particular story is good. This kind of set the tone for everything I do now. around 2005, my principal took me into the office. He was a cool guy. He's like, "You need to leave." I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "You need to leave. It's time for you to leave." And so what he meant by that is that what I was doing in the school, he could tell it wasn't enough, wasn't like I needed to go to another level. He said, like, I'm getting schools, our neighborhood schools, who wants you to come over there and do what you're doing here. So he's like, you need to do something. You need to figure this out. So I built a business. I built a school consulting business, technology consulting business, and I ended up working with darn near 50 schools on my own from like 2006 to 2011. I built their websites. I did staff development. So I was very heavy into that, to that life. One day, Christmas break, I'm 2008. I'm sitting there kind of bored because our school and our district had told me they're looking for somebody to do video. And I, to like videotape different classrooms for like assessments for this grant. No one knew how to do it. So I was like bored during Christmas break. I'm like, I'll play with video, I'll play around and like learn how to do it. So I was like, well, where do I put it to like, oh yeah, this YouTube. So I just uploaded a couple skits and things I did, and people started watching them and commenting. I'm like, what is this? So yeah, over those next couple of years, I see my job winding down to school district. Steph, I know you work in a school. You work with school district.
I talk to students. Yeah, I go in.
Okay, yeah. Yes. So I saw that particular program ending, and I was like, well, what am I going to do next? What's my next step? Am I going to go on the road and be a consultant, or am I? And this YouTube thing was just kind of working. I'm like, let's see if this could work. So yeah, the next year I moved to LA, and I've been doing it for 11 years now here in LA, just trying to build up this business of me being kind of just this guy who likes to entertain, but also inform by, talking about products I use and services I use. And it's been a weird journey because, and we could talk about the competition and being black and all, doing this. There's a lot that has gone into it the last 10, 11 years for sure. But that's my background. Sorry if that was too long. I tried to shorten it.
Awesome story, though.
Yeah.
No, it's a good story because I didn't know you were in the consulting for as long as you were. You did that for years, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
But back to Terrance's point, you have been, you started off as everybody did, because Shorts is still relatively new from as far as YouTube, but you started off doing the longer form content, and then and I remember watching you because like I was following you, and like you very deliberately thought about, okay, I think I might need to switch over and just focus on Shorts. So go ahead and tell us about that, because that for somebody who had the following that you had to completely change over like that was definitely a courageous act.
Yeah, and thanks for that question, Terrance. Yeah, it wasn't by accident. I don't do anything off the cuff. Everything is I'm a chess player, so I think ahead 2-3 moves. And what I saw doing at the time unboxings and tech stuff, I saw a dwindling of interest in numbers don't lie. So there was a dwindling interest on YouTube. I had been on. I just think it just happens when you're a creator on there for such a long time. It's just it's just going to dwindle. So I started seeing that, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, I just started getting burned out. I'm not a person. I like, after 5 or 6 years, I'm ready to move on. Right, I'm ready to do something different. But here, I stuck this out for an extended amount of time, and I was just burnt out at the time where I just didn't want to do YouTube anymore. So when the pandemic hit, that was like, okay, breathing room time. What do I do? What's my next thing? I don't like this. It had nothing to do with the money per se. I just didn't like the way it was going, and I didn't like the trajectory. So, I missed, and I do want to talk about Vine a little bit. So remind me, because I missed the Vine train, but I saw what people were doing during the pandemic on TikTok. I'm like, oh wait a minute, no, there are adults on here. I thought it was just some dancing kids, and it's like, no, there are adults in here storytelling and doing their thing. So I'm like, well, let me upload clips from my YouTube and just format them correctly, and let's see what happens. And they took off completely, and so I started making So, I started making a regular. I hadn't left YouTube widescreen yet. So around early 2021, I started making regular content. What happened was I would do regular unboxings on YouTube, right? And then I would shorten it to a minute or so for shorts. So let's say it's an 8-minute video. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, if this 1-minute video is working and I'm telling the story correctly, and I'm getting all the things in that needs to be done, and it's getting 10 times the views of my YouTube thing is doing, what am I doing over here? And I just realized I'm wasting it. I started realizing that the widescreen, so much of that was fluff. And we all did it. We all did the, I never intentionally said, I want to get to 10
make sure
minutes.
you're hitting that subscribe. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button and the ding and the bell and the notifications. Nobody wants to hear that.
It's all fluff. And I never was one that was like, I'm going to stretch it to 10 minutes for the extra ads. I never did that. If it got to 10 minutes, it got to 10 minutes. But if it did, it didn't. And so I didn't have that issue, but I was just like, there's just a lot of nonsense in these videos that when I did the same type of video, but shorter and to the point, still entertaining, and those videos were taking off. And a light bulb hit in my head. I was just like, what if I do this full time? Because also what was happening during the pandemic, most of my money that was being made, and I do make a living off this, obviously, most of my money that was being made was not on YouTube, even though I've been on there for years. It was Instagram. It was Instagram stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was already doing vertical.
Fan for 10-minute videos.
It was already. I was already doing vertical. So it was Instagram stories, and so I started. Reels came out. I started adding things to Reels. Brands were like, "Oh, we can get a direct video that's just us," instead of me doing this dog and pony show. It's like, "Oh, by the way, I got a sponsor." Like I hated doing those type of videos, and I just like I could just do a direct fun thing for the brand, and they loved it. And then my TikTok shot up in a few months to 1 million, and and then so the last thing that was there, that was a problem, was YouTube, and I was like, okay, I can't lose this. I got at the time 1.5 million. I was like, I can't. What am I going to do here? A few weeks later, YouTube came out with YouTube Shorts, and I'm like, that's my answer. That's the answer. So September 1st, 2021, I didn't even make an announcement. I just started posting what I was doing on TikTok and everything on Shorts, and it took a few months. Even with the million, because they don't send those to your subscribers all the time. So I was kind of starting at zero, but it took a few months. And then those started blowing up as well. And so I went from 1.5, I'm at 2 million now, plus 2.1 on YouTube. So my YouTube is doing better doing short form.
So
my whole business is.
Wow. So let me ask you, what percentage? Because you mentioned burnout. You also mentioned that people don't have, they got short span attention, and anything Reels, Shorts that caters to that short form video tends to work, if not work better. What will you contribute the percentage, the lion's share of your decision? Like, all right, bump this, I'm doing it. Like, again, was it burnout, or was it like tech is changing and I need to get on board?
That's a really good question. I never really thought about the percentage. Just to give you an honest answer, it probably was the latter. It probably was like, no, this is the future. Because I definitely, again, it's one of my looking aheads, and then looking ahead, I also look back. Let's go back to Vine. I missed the Vine train. I was just like, hey, nobody do look at the 7-second. I'm sitting here, I'm doing really well with my widescreen videos. Completely ignored it, and I wish I had, because what Vine did, particularly for us, it let Black people shine, because I mentor people now,
right?
I mentor people now, and I tell them, I say, it's to make a YouTube channel currently, it's almost impossible to go from ground zero. But think about what those people did at Vine. Like what made it good for Black people? Well, it didn't matter whether you had Sprint or Boost Mobile. You had a phone, you had a camera and a microphone, and we got talent.
And it's the same thing for TikTok now, because because it's such bite-sized pieces of content, it's a low barrier to entry for anybody to get in on. And you got those trends that everybody can hop on, anybody can do a little dance or something, and everybody has the same opportunity to blow up, basically.
Yeah, and that's what they did and I'm gonna be, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but like a lot of us got popular on Vine and then they shut that down. We started asking for money and they shut it down the next week. I'm just saying things, so, but that let me know we were onto something for this short form. And I said, and so my short form, my goal was like, okay, I'm too old to be doing this dancing and all that crap. But what is my specialty? What can I do in a minute? Can I tell a story in a minute with the products? Can I give you what you need to know? Can I give you my opinion? And can I have some entertainment value in there, but also educational value? Can I put that in a minute and package it in a way that you'll leave there is like, man, I want to try that product. Oh, that looks cool. And I think over time I successfully did it. And so I stood out for a while in that because most people were just putting up clips like I did in the beginning from their YouTube saying, go to my YouTube to see, go to my YouTube to see my full thing. Yeah. Nobody wants to do that.
And they're not going.
It doesn't work. It does not work. They will not move. They want the content there, and that's why I was like, I can't run those two businesses together. I can't do live stream and vertical together
because you'd essentially have to shoot the video twice.
Yes, and I know I have a good.
You're cannibalizing your own content because now if you're trying to drive traffic to somewhere else, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Now they're not watching this, and they're not going to come back, or they're not going to go there. So it's just like, what are you even doing?
So what I do now is my strategy is I upload to 6 different places. It's TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Threads. I don't do Twitter anymore, and what's 6 is Snapchat. And Snapchat I've never really used it, but they have a spotlight feature kind of like TikTok. So I just upload to that and just been letting it work, and it's been growing on its own. Now I got after a year of nothing, I got a brand deal over there just for Snapchat, working with Google on something. So, and when Facebook Reels came out, they invited me to the program to get paid. It was 2021. They got one of the first people to get paid for doing short form, like per video, because they were just trying to get people to get on the Facebook Reels. So I've had some good opportunities with this, and I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't trade it. I'm at a, because yes, people are like, are you you're being, I get some detractors in my audience. So you're just doing it because you're being lazy. You want to do less work. And my first thing is like, what if I was?
Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Your point.
I'm working smarter, not harder. Yeah, isn't that the dream of any business?
Right.
To be efficient. If I can make the same amount of money or better, and I'm making better by doing less but more efficient work, I'm actually making more videos than I've ever made before. Duh. Like, why is that a bad thing?
So you just said something I'd like you didn't say it, because it's a big point. But you said, I'm not on Twitter anymore, or X as they're now calling it. Now, like I said, you and I go back a little bit on that platform. Okay. So I know, once again, you made a very, very conscious, deliberate, well thought out decision to leave the platform. And we're not talking about somebody like me. I got like 900 followers on X. You had hundreds of thousands of followers on X.
100,000, not hundreds of thousands.
It was in the hundreds of thousands. That's I'll give you the shot. It was in the hundreds of thousands. Well, it wasn't 200,000. So it wasn't 200,000. It wasn't 200,000. Okay. But like I said, I knew it was something you were thinking about. Then Threads came out, and I'm just like, man, I haven't seen Lamar post in a minute. And next thing, I literally, like, the day that I'm thinking that, we get a video. Hey, I'm about to hop over here right fast. I'm paraphrasing, but I want to let you talk about that because there's a whole lot of folks who are saying, "Oh, I'm getting off of Twitter." Like if I were to get off of Twitter, it doesn't mean anything. I had 900 people. It means something to the 900, but I don't have 100,000. You had 100,000 folks that was rocking with you over on that platform, and you made a very conscious decision to move someplace else. Why don't you tell us how you came to that and why you came to that?
Yeah, so it at the surface it sounds stupid, and I when you say 100,000, it's like yeah, that's something. But you know, it was calculated. The last few years, I have just been burned out for Twitter. Matter of fact, I think in 2018, I don't know if you knew that I took a full year off Twitter. The only thing I uploaded, I think I had YouTube allowed you to auto post your videos, and so I just auto post my videos. I would check in every once in a while, but it was just I've been on Twitter before I was on YouTube. You know, I was on Twitter early 2008, and it, you know, again, I guess I can use that word burnout of it, but that's kind of honestly, it just kind of got sick of all the crap on it. It just got more negative, and I'm not a person that likes reveling in that. Some people love to revel in there. You know, I got you know friends, a lot of them black, and they like reveling in that messy stuff. And I'm just, you know, I'm just too old for that. Like I you know, I support you. You know, if you know that's your thing. It just started not to be my thing, and then you know Elon took over, and it just really, you know, listen. I have as many filters as I can on there. I got all the N words, I got all that filtered. You know, but I still get certain things that come in, and people have just started getting more aggressive because they knew they can get away with it. You know, when somebody realizes they could talk directly to you, and it just started getting increasingly, I'm just like, wait a minute, why do I have to deal with this? And so I just got burned out of it. And listen, I've seen, you know, Hive, Blue Sky. I think there's one for black folks. I forgot what it's called. Spill Mob. You know, I've seen, you know, and I just, you know, I put my name on a few of them just to save my name, but I was like, it was just something about Threads and what it is. My Instagram was already doing well. So this came from the same family, and then they just came out so well. And something just told me like this is the right thing to do. And then I do want to address the 100,000. I've been on since 2008, Rob. Most of those people are not there.
Right.
they're not. I don't have and my engagement on there is super low. Like I'm not, you know, I've had bot checks and all that. And I don't have many of those. I just think a lot of those people are just not using the site anymore.
You said you took a whole year off in 2018. That's like, because I took a whole 2 off from 2016. Actually, that's close to 3 from 2016 to 2019. I don't think I posted anything on Twitter other than maybe happy birthday to somebody every now and again. I just wasn't on the platform. It's really been in like the last year and a half that I've even started to pick it up and, you know, and use it.
Yeah. But also from a business point of view, honestly, if there was, you know, I'm running a business, so if there's money to be made, you know, I'm not going to be stupid. But I talked to my agent about something with the agency, and there's no brand had any interest.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of money to be made on Twitter.
Anything, none. I mean,
there's really no money to be made on Twitter. As somebody who can get a couple little coins herself, you ain't making no money on Twitter.
Yeah, you don't want to host 50 million Twitter chats.
Yeah, no,
no, I do not.
No. Well, let me ask you, Lamar, because you done said it a couple different times about how you too old for something. Was that a consideration? Like, think way back when you first decided to kind of enter into this, you know, when you were doing the videos at the school and you know, kind of started thinking about what this could look like as you made your way onto YouTube. You know, you are older than the average influencer and content creator. Was that a consideration getting into this business? Did you think maybe, you know, what am I doing here? Am I too old for this? Should I be going down this road? What was that a consideration for you?
Every single day. every single day I thought that, yeah, because I got into it officially at age 31, I believe. And all the, you know, yes, there were people my age. There was the Shay Carls and some Vlog Brothers and a couple other people that were popular. Soldier Knows Best, which is a black tech creator who's dope. You know, he's, you know, so like there were people my age, but when I came in, the bigger ones, and then the ones that latched to my content were younger. And so there was very much am I too old? I went, it's like, is this creepy? I went through the thing is, am I okay to be here? And am I okay to be here as a black guy? You know, like, you know, because I look at my age as strike one, black is strike two. There's like I enter
and being
in
a woman, you know, hi, in tech,
yes. So, you know, it was that, and also it's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that, because it's also like, you know, we always hear with black people, we always got to work twice as hard to get, you know, that's not a fable, that's a real actual thing.
That's right.
And I'm gonna be honest about how YouTube is, and how I talked to some people on YouTube who were willing to divulge. Yeah, it's super hard for us. And here's one of the reasons. Most of YouTube's views, as you probably know, do not come from the US. They're international. It's 70% of YouTube views are actually international. So the international people, because of how YouTube's algorithm is, they send them what they think they want to see. So they'll send them these top creators, the Paul brothers, Casey. And I've nothing against these, but they never set us international. So when I pop up on the thumbnail, they're not trying to click that. And they were I had somebody who was very honest with me about that. It's like, yeah, that's why, you know, because listen, yes, I have at the time, you know, I have 2 million on YouTube now, but I've been on for 14 years now on YouTube. I've never had a viral video. I've had videos that gotten a few million over time, but I've never been a person it's been a slow, grueling grind up there. I really had to learn from that. You know, like, it just didn't blow up on there. Like, my TikTok blew up, but you know, in current times, but YouTube was just a grind. And I just realized, you know, I know some black creators did the trick where they didn't put themselves in a thumbnail, and I tried that a couple times, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to be trying to fool people. That like listen, if you want to, you know, like, if you want to rock with me, you want to rock with me. You know, I'm not gonna be trying to fool you. So I'm in the thumbnail, and I didn't get a lot of views, and there's some comparable people who I see, and I try not to compare, but we're human, so we're gonna do it. And I'm just like, this person, you know, is getting 2, 3, 4 times doing less than I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's where the burnout contributed to. You asked me about that word, that where you working twice as hard for so many years, at some point you're just like,
still getting a third of the engagement.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, I can't keep doing this like that. It's tiring on my body. It started affecting my health, you know.
Oh, wow.
And your mental health as well.
Especially with all the effort. I don't think and you can, if you want to kind of go through it, you're welcome to it. But a lot of people don't understand the process and the actual work and the editing and all that goes into putting up a YouTube video, right? So I think a lot of people just assume, oh, that ain't hard.
You just turn your camera on and sit in front of your camera and start talking.
Right. Most of your time is probably into creating a thumbnail. Kind of go over, you know, for people who are uninitiated, kind of go over the process, your specific process that went into making these YouTube videos that before you decided to make the switch.
Yeah. So to start out, I don't have a team. I don't have a big team. A lot of these bigger creators in my level or higher do. So I'm solo. I've always been solo. So the process of coming up with the YouTube, coming up with the idea for the video, I will usually script, especially the early times, I would script out. Now, that's just to get it in my memory. When I got on camera, I pretty much kind of memorized and kind of ad-libbed. But again, but at least outline. It's always an outline of what, you know, especially when you talk about tech stuff. One time I said megabyte versus gigabyte, and you would think I cursed somebody's grandma out. Like that. So you got to be exact with that tech audience. So yeah, but the process is extensive because like you write out the video. Let's say even if I did in a day, write out the video, film the video, then obviously mistakes and all that, so you're doing all that, got the raw footage, then to edit that down, that could take a few hours there. So like it could be a couple hours to write stuff. Sometimes it's days because I'm trying to come up with certain ideas. It's not always in that same days. So a few hours or more easily to edit. I know some people who take a couple days to edit. So I could say a few to several hours to edit. Even if you got it up and uploaded it, you're not done. There's marketing. A lot of people forget about the marketing, and I can't just rely on the YouTube algorithm. You're sending it to your people on Twitter at the time or on Instagram. Come over and watch this. They're not going to do it, but you still got to say it. Engaging in the comments the first hour, then coming back, and it's and I'm not going to say this is harder than somebody doing construction work. Obviously, it's a different process, but it's extensive, especially when you're doing 8-10 minute videos. Those are hours at a time easily. Like I've had some where it take me 2 or 3 days to get that video out,
right?
And to have that happen, and I got this big let's say I got an early view on some product or something, and I did this big thing, got the video out, did all this work, I'm beat. And then the algorithm decides,
right.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. And it started hurting after a while. It hurts financially, obviously. I'm trying to make a living off this. And so but it just started hurting me mentally. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Stephanie. I'm like the mental health started getting to me, because I'm just like, I know I'm doing good work. Why am I being punished?
Right.
Where like sometimes they wouldn't even send my video out. There'd be so many errors and things, or they just decided not to push it. And I'm like, the people who listen, if I made crap content, I will own it. I will say, yeah, that was garbage. But when I get people in the comments who actually did get the video and they love it, I'm like, okay, so it's not me.
What is
everybody's not gonna like the content, right? But I'm saying it's not a crap video.
But when you've done good work, and it just
I take pride in it.
Get propagated out
into the ether.
It should have been.
Right.
And we all know, and we've all been there. We're content creators, all of us, and we know when we just when it hit, and you just like, and you look at those analytics and you're like, are you serious right now? And it's just the most frustrating thing in the world. And it's just like, what am I even doing?
Right.
I had to stop looking.
What is this even for? And
versus like a throwaway, something goofy that you do, and
you
put
nonsense.
it up, and that goes crazy. You like, you know what? Forget it.
Oh, that drove me nuts when that happened.
You just be ready to slam the phone down. It's just crazy.
So correlate the process it took into doing the longer form. Kind of break down, because you mentioned you're shooting these shorter form videos and uploading to 6 different platforms. Kind of explain your process of how you work now and getting that content out, and how you upload it, and what's your process on that now?
Yeah, so the structural process is the same. I still have to outline and come up with an idea and film. But it has changed versus using a $4,000 camera. I use my phone, and I largely use my iPhone for that. Sometimes I have both Android and just because I'm a tech guy, it's like I like having both. So sometimes I'll need a like I'm showing something on my iPhone, I'll use the Android camera or whatever. So I interchange between those. So I get that up, and usually it could be anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes worth of footage. It is a faster edit, which I do like. It's a faster edit. Once it's done, my process is like, okay. And the nice thing is I don't have to worry about thumbnails, because short form doesn't care about thumbnails.
Right.
So I get to eliminate that process. And I didn't mention that before. That process could take hours, because that's the key part of marketing. If somebody's not gonna click, you got to get people to click. And again, I'm one of those. I'm not trying to toot my horn in any way, because I'm not like that. But I know, I've been in marketing, so I know how to manipulate people and how to put out but I just couldn't. I couldn't be like, be like putting out
clickbaity and
clickbait.
It feels icky,
and it hurt me. But I just had to stick to my values with that one. You know, I tried to put out as good as I could, but without lying to the audience, because in that long term, that's just not good. You know, short term, you'll get short term gains, but I'm trying to be here for a while, right? So and to answer your question about once the video is done, you know, sometimes it's 30 minutes, you know, from filming to.
Are you editing in app, or are you using like a CapCut or something?
Thank you for asking. Actually, no. What I do is I airdrop it to my Mac. I use Final Cut 10. I just shoot. I choose not to. Well, if I edit an app, let's say I did it in TikTok, then it has to live there.
Yeah, because the watermark stuff.
Right. So I just decided. I think they changed that recently, but I like Final Cut 10. So I've been editing that since 2011. So the same software.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. So I edit really quickly. You know, if I want to put music in, I do that. The video's done, then I airdrop it back to my phone, and then from there I upload to TikTok first. You know, I come up with my.
So you're doing the manual. Caption. You don't have like an aggregator that automatically pushes it out.
Oh no, I do a manual. The only thing that's automatic now is Instagram will push to my Facebook page. The reels. It didn't used to do that reliably. Now it does. Okay. So I'm up. So my order is YouTube first because it's already on my desktop. So I use YouTube's regular uploader. I don't use the mobile app for that. And then TikTok is first. Instagram, you know, I'll tease it on Instagram stories, and then I'll go to Threads, and then Snapchat. You know, so like but I've done it so much that I'm able to do it really fast. Within 10 minutes, I can have it uploaded to kind of everywhere. And I have pretty much the same caption. YouTube still needs a title because it's YouTube. So I just have to tweak that to make it look like a title. Versus like Instagram, you just throw in a caption and the bottom. So but I've done it. I've done so many times that it's a really fast process, and then I'm done and ready to, you know, move on either to the next piece. Because sometimes what I do is I will film a bunch in one day. I'll film 3 or 4. Like tomorrow, I might film like 3 in a row, and then just knock them out. And then I'll just, I usually put out a video. If I usually don't do more than 1 a day. Some people push out 5 or 6 videos. I don't know what kind of time they have, you know, to do that. Because I've been recommended that. You should do 3 to 5 videos a day, and I'm just like, I'm going to wear people out, and they're not going to want to see me. You know, you can wear out your weapon. You can wear out your welcome.
You can.
So I wanted to ask you a question. I actually hosted Daily Tech News Show a couple weeks ago, and Shannon Morse was guest host on the show.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about you, you know, on the show and in Good Day Internet, because I said, I wonder how Lamar is going to feel about YouTube's decision to remove your ability to link.
What?
To link. So like, you know what I'm talking about? I know you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to get your take on that, because that is potentially wrecking business models of folks who do what you do.
Yeah, that pissed me off. My audio is going in and out. Sorry. So when I saw that, I was really, really upset about that, because it is one of the only places, because I uploaded again 6 places, that lets you put a link in. Instagram does not let you put a link in, because sometimes I'm doing products and people want to know where you got the product. You know,
and the brands want to be able to track that stuff.
Well, brands, number one, and you know, number 2 for myself. You know, it's not always an affiliate link, but I do have an Amazon affiliate. You know, so it doesn't hurt. You know, but even if it's just like, hey, you got this, you know, this controller, where'd you get that from? Oh, I put but you know, I just don't understand YouTube's reasoning. I understand if you want to disable the commenters from putting links, but I'm a verified, trusted person that's been there for 14 plus years. Should there not be some kind of filter to say, okay, you've done this, you have a trustworthiness? That's how they do the same thing to determine whether you get ads. Are you a trustworthy? After a while, they trust me where they don't have to double check my videos, because I've done enough good videos and they leave it alone, and they don't have to manually look at them to determine whether they get ads. So you give me trust with that, but soon I'm not going to be able to put links. And I think I know why. YouTube is pushing out their shoppable links. So they don't work with Amazon. So, but like, let's say they worked with Best Buy, and I did a product that Best Buy has. They have shoppable links, so YouTube gets a little cut, and you can use their system. They don't. I think they want to keep people in house as much as possible. That's why one of the reasons
always
Instagram
boils down to some money.
Yeah,
you know,
it's money. Instagram does the same thing. Threads right now lets you do links, and I hope they don't take that away. But it seems like they don't want you to push out.
Don't get your hopes up. As soon as Facebook is able to make some money on Threads, they're gonna make some money on Threads. There's no question about that.
I know.
So yeah, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because just from the tech standpoint, is that okay? They have a competing product, so we're going to remove your ability to monetize without us away from you. And that just makes me think what I've always said about other platforms. It's like you have to always look at them as what they are. When you are in somebody else's walled garden, they control who gets to play in the sandbox. It's like, they are making those rules. So I love really how you have diversified, and you're literally on 6 different platforms, because it's like, okay, well, if you mess with me this way, they're not, maybe I'll start focusing more there. It gives you, it gives you alternatives as compared to people who are using one thing, and when they make a change, and it just wrecks you.
No, I'm really glad you said that, because that was my most important strategy, because there are people who are homegrown on TikTok that I know. They have 10 million, 20 million people, and I just happen to know them. And 2 things happen. They either always asking me, how am I getting brand deals, because they can't get them, or they're like, I'm like scared, because remember when TikTok was that whole Congress thing, and people thought it was gonna be shut off that week, and I'm just like, this is why. And I told my friends, this is why you can't be putting your trust in these companies. These companies are not doing this for you. They're doing it for them. We are just happen to be part of the product, the thing there. So like I don't love anyone. I use people like they're using me. So Threads is cool right now, but Threads can piss me off in 3 years, and I move on somewhere else. I have no love for YouTube. Yes, I started there, but I see how much they don't give a damn about me as a creator. I have literally talked to people at YouTube. I have been there. I've had reps who then just disappear after a few weeks. Like they just, if you're not making them, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars a month or a year, you're not that kind of creator. They move on. I'm not. I'm pretty much middle of the road. I'm just, I have 1 million, but that's nothing now compared to a lot of these bigger people. Right. So I just get ignored. And once you get ignored for so long, you just like, what, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Right. Yeah.
I can't, that's why I like what you all do. I like it. Like you're building your own foundations, so
make
Spotify,
don't let the money make you.
Right.
Yeah. Spotify goes away. Cool. Our stuff is still on Apple Podcasts. However that is. I like that. I tried the newsletter thing. It wasn't for me, for my audience, but I still like the concept of trying to own your own audience. That's something that YouTube just didn't let you do, because they wanted to own all of that. So I feel like I'm starting new, in a way. But
that can be exciting, though, can it?
No, that's what it was. When and to kind of further your question, Terrance, when I started this, I felt instantly like I started back in 2008. I felt brand new, especially on TikTok. The nice thing about TikTok, most of them did not know who I was. I didn't go on there saying I'm Lamar, $1 million on nothing. It took them months, and people were like, "Wait a minute, I've seen you somewhere." And then the work, but other than that, I grew that from scratch. I didn't get any push from anywhere, and I love that feeling. So I feel that way with Threads. Hey, let me start new. I got 25,000 people now. This is fresh. This gives me something to build and grow on. And there are already brands that are doing stuff on Threads already. So that's another income place.
So before we let you get out of here, I wanted to just cover one area, because you put out a video a day. And oftentimes in those videos is something that a company has sent to you to review, to give your opinion on. And I know your opinions are your own and everything, but I know a lot of our listeners who are thinking about, I want to become a creator. I'd love to have somebody send me a new Joy-Con, or have somebody send me this custom PS controller or something like that. What can you tell our audience that they should be thinking about if this is something that they're just trying to get into? They're trying to become a content creator. They want to actually get sponsors. They want to get folks to actually send them things, maybe even on embargo, that they can do their video and have that come out at some point. What is your recommendation to just get to the point to where brands are willing to work with you and give you the opportunity to get stuff to actually review and make videos for?
Let me answer that in two parts. That's a really, really good question. The first one, I will say, because I'm assuming your audience skews Black, and I mentor a couple of people who are Black creators, and I will say, like I told them, it seems that for us right now, the faster track to success seems to be the short form vertical. Trying to make a whole channel and even it's just I've seen it, and it's just right now for some reason it's just not working. But for us, I've seen a faster success. So if you can find a way to figure that part out, it's like, okay, what can I talk about in a minute or less? So and obviously, so I say a minute because I upload to some places that only give you a minute, but TikTok gives you 10 minutes. And some give you 90 seconds, whatever. So I would say that for us, there's been a faster track, to success. To answer your other question, is one of those things that I know they say back in the day. I know a lot of people are kind of against this, but like if you want the job, do the job now as if you were in the position. A lot of people balk at that because I'm not doing extra on my job, and I hear it, I do, but like my success as a creator has been like I was just buying things anyway. I like stuff. I like tech. I like games and things. So I just started talking about things that I've already bought or things that I've had already in the house. And I really recommend people, and I don't want to try to simplify it and say this is super easy, but that is the easiest way to start. You have a phone. You have, you like pick a, let's say you like video games. Start talking about the ones you have. Right. That's all I did with Microsoft. I didn't know how to I didn't get in contact with Microsoft. They found me. I was just talking about Microsoft things, and they were like, "Hey, we seen your videos. We want to see you again." And years later, I got a great relationship with them. Same thing with Apple. I got a great relationship with Apple. It's not a paid one, but it's a good relationship of access and things. And so like I just say, do the job. If you want to, be an unboxer, I always tell people, start unboxing stuff. Buy, stuff that you get on Amazon. Amazon has a program now. Matter of fact, I lied. I upload to 7 places because I upload to Amazon's Inspire. Because when there's a thing I bought from Amazon, they have a TikTok like thing there, and I upload there, and I make money on that too.
Yeah, Amazon's starting to look like QVC sometimes.
Really,
the way they do it.
They had me test out that, and I end up not liking their format payment structure, but yeah, they definitely had a QVC thing going on for a while.
Yeah, and to add your point real fast, people can tell. Well, I can tell. I'll just use me. I can tell when I'm watching somebody doing something that they enjoy doing versus somebody that's just doing something because that's what everybody else is doing, or somebody told them this is what you need to be doing, or after they spend thousands of dollars in this master class, the master class decided, all right, you need to be doing this. You can tell. So I
absolutely,
I'm piggybacking on your point to where whatever you're doing, whatever you're interested in, start there first versus trying to go on Google Analytics or trying to sift through the news and find out, all right, what are people doing? How are people? Let me do it just like them.
Yeah. Dude, let me jump in on that. There is a There's this white lady on TikTok that I love watching because she embodies, and she's about my age. She embodies that. She just started giving tips on how
Oh,
to clean, how to clean.
mothership. How to do TikTok? The
No,
woman
no,
that
no, no,
teaches
no,
you
no.
how to do the TikTok
No,
stuff?
I've never seen her. No, no, this is what's going
Oh,
to shock
she's
you.
amazing.
This lady was just teaching you how to clean your clothes in the laundry properly.
Oh, I
Something
watch her too.
as
I love
simple.
her too.
Yeah,
I love her too.
So just real simple. And then from there, she went in like, hey, I have tips about the dishwasher. Something that is just ordinary, regular things, but she happens to know the tips and tricks on how to maximize and how to get your best value. She's blown up because of that, and now she's under what's called the laundry talk. That's her subcategory, and I love finding people like that just do regular things.
Simple things.
Yes,
but you can tell that they enjoy it and they'll be doing it
Authenticity will
anyway.
always win out. At the end of the day, I think authenticity always wins.
Yeah, that's honestly been especially with the short form, because short form, especially on TikTok, whatever, you can only fake it for so long. And I've never tried to fake it, but I'm just like, they're going to call you out. I would say my fault in the beginning, yes, I've not done this perfectly at all, is I brought my YouTube persona over to TikTok, and they started tearing me a new one because that presentation style of formal and that attestation and all that, they were like, man, be more you. So I'm just like, if it's something that's in the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen opening it. It was something for my collect, like I just take it where it is, and I'm just more loose with it versus making this formal presentation. So short form has taught me you got to be real. You got to be, I might even have a do-rag on one day, just waking up, just to, I got no hair.
So, one of my favorite recent videos that you did, and it wasn't even an unboxing. It was, why do black people do this? You had a whole case of soap, but you basically had, and we all do this. This is a thing within our community. You will use that piece. You will use that dial soap until it's translucent. You can literally see through this thing got so thin. It is like, oh, I can get another 17, 18 washes out of this. And I'm just like, it was something so basic. Yeah, it was something so basic, but it's like, that was a video. It's like, wow, let's look at the numbers on this one going up, and it was just like something that was cool. But look, Lamar, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show this week, just to kind of tell us about your world and some of the kind of things that you do. But I want to just give you a few minutes at the end of the show. Tell folks how they can find you. You literally are everywhere, but tell folks, if there's a message or a place you want people to know to go, find what you're doing, this is your time to tell them.
Well, don't go to X. I'm not there. So, but my main website is Lamarr.tv. That's Lamar with 2 R's .tv, and that's where my bio is, and you can see a lot more about me, and all my links to Instagram, whatever. I always tell people, you don't have to follow me everywhere. Follow me where you're the most comfortable. With the exception of X, but a lot of people are leaving that. So if you're comfortable on Instagram, I put all of my content there. So don't feel like you have to get a TikTok account or anything. I don't put anything special over there unless a brand says they only want that place. So yeah, Lamarr.tv, and I'm at Lamar Wilson everywhere. I've been fortunate to get that name and everywhere. So yeah, I just try to post as regular as possible and try to be as real as possible. I'm still learning. I definitely make some mistakes, and I'm thankful that as a Black creator, I'm able to keep going and just inspire. I've been blessed to be able to mentor some people. I do. I still try to help some schools on the side with some of their things low key. I just don't make a big deal out of it. But I really, there's such an opportunity right now for our people to be successful in this, where it was only for a few before. There's, so whether you are interested in tech or gaming or any kind of lifestyle things, there's huge opportunity right now. So, You know, if you got an idea, man, it's the sky's the limit. You can do it. Do it. You got a phone and you got an idea. You got the world at your fingertips. You really do.
That's good, man. Like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. So y'all have probably realized that we didn't do a live show last week, but we actually got patrons last week and this week. So I want to give them a shout out. So first, we want to give a shout out to Brenda Muir, who became a new patron of us. And we also got to shout out our homie, Charles. You know, Charles Hall has given us yet another raise. I think this, you know, he has given us raises the 2 years we've been doing this show. So thank you to Charles. And for anyone else who would like to support the Tech Jawn, you can head over to patreon.com/the Tech Jawn, the Tech JAWN. We got multiple tiers over there, any one of which gets you access to our after party, which we're about to roll into probably in about 90 seconds. So with that being said, Tech Life Steph, why don't you tell folks how they can get at you?
You can follow me all around the web at Tech Life Steph, or check me out at stephaniehumphrey.com.
And you can find me all over the internet at Brother Tech. That's BROTHATECH.
And I am at Robb Dunewood on all the things. And we are also at the Tech Jawn on all the things. So holla at us however you holla. Till we meet again in a week's time. Peace.